So the best technique that I've found for doing aerokinesis involves lesson 2 of Avatar Awakening, learning to feel that which you see. And in that lesson, I teach you how to become how to do that through a tree. A tree is one of the main things that I say. I say stare at a tree that's 20 to 50 feet away from you, and then rock back and forth gently to the left and to the right while holding your visual focus on that tree. Remember, in this kinetic communion series, I've said again and again and again that the gateway to a spiritual connection is a physical connection, that with enough awareness, with enough presence in the moment, a physical experience becomes a spiritual experience. So the sight of that tree, the color of the trunk, the pattern of the bark, the pattern of the leaves, the color of the leaves, it's just the simple visual data that you're getting of that tree is your pathway to a spiritual connection with that tree. All you have to do is understand this principle of the senses, that it's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. It's not just data in, it's also data out. Everywhere you look with your bifocal vision, so our vision comes to a point. It's two halves of mind that come to a singular point. Every single place that we look with our bifocal vision forms a condensed, an orb of living light, a ball of energy, because that's just the natural focal mechanism. That's what the optic nerves automatically do to the soul energy. It's an automatic process. Everywhere you look with your bifocal vision forms a little orb of light. And little is just how it starts. So your average human that's not even really that connected has maybe a dim little ball of barely visible spiritual light that flickers on and off and everywhere they look, and not very much. But an energy master who's able to hold their focus in one space, one time, observing that tree, the color of the bark, the pattern, the leaves, the branches, one thing, then that the more you singularize your focus, the more that orb of living light is going to grow and expand, because just from the bioluminology lessons, the energy flows where the attention goes, and it multiplies like quickly with presence mastery. So as you're doing this singular focus with your vision, this orb, this soul expansion of your own soul is happening outside of you and within the tree. So if at the same time you apply the avatar lesson 2, the senses, that anything that you see on the outside, you feel on the inside, well, you've now built a bridge. Remember, we've talked about bridging in several of these kinetic communion lesson videos, that consciousness, that awareness builds the bridge. And once the bridge is built, anything that happens in one place happens everywhere else. We've talked about this a lot, but I'll just do a brief reminder of it. One of the primary things that I would talk about would be like bridging your hand to your soul field that's all around you. So you expand into your sphere of expanded awareness, and you hold that awareness. In other words, you can feel your field of energy. Hold that awareness. Don't let it go. And then at the same time, you're going to become aware of your hand right in front of you while holding the awareness of your expanded bubble. If you are aware of your physical hand at the same time that you're aware of your expanded soul bubble, you have built a bridge between your hand and your expanded soul field, because consciousness, simple awareness, is the bridge. So now that that bridge has been built, if you just slowly open and expand your hand, you're going to feel your entire soul bubble do the same thing. It's going to light up, and it's going to start to expand and get lighter and have like the opposite of pressure. So you're going to feel that, and significantly. As you begin to grasp and close your hand, you're going to feel your soul field constricting and tightening. So this principle of bridging goes into everything. Consciousness, simple awareness is the bridge. Wherever your awareness is, causes a bridge to be built to where anything that happens at any location in this bridging it can be not just a bifocal bridging, but it can be triangulated. Like you can be aware of the sun shining in the sky. You can be aware of your physical body. You can be aware of the ground deep beneath your feet. And just that simple awareness, because you built this conscious bridge between the shining sun and the deep, dark, cold ground beneath your feet, you automatically going to feel that sunlight shift and go through your body and through the earth and shine through it and penetrate it at far deeper levels than it does naturally, because you have built a bridge, because that sun has nuclear expanding radiation energy happening in it, and you have bridged the deep, dark, cold, still earth with the eminent sun. So there's no limit to what bridging can do. And that's what we do in this, by far the best aerokinesis technique that I've ever come up with. So you want to pick a day where it's not very windy at all. It could be a very dead, a very still day. If your skills are advanced, that won't matter too much. But if you're still on the precipice, then your ultimate day to really learn and to anchor this in would just be a very light amount of breeze happening, but not very much, because you want most of the trees to be still. So you want to pick a tree in an area. It's one tree is fine. Multiple trees is even better, because it's more visual conformational data. If one tree, the wind is rustling, but the tree right next to it, nothing is happening, then that's obviously not just a mass movement of wind. Especially as a practitioner, you said, okay, I'm going to connect to that tree now. Yes, that tree, not the one to the right of it, just that tree. And then that tree, and only that tree, the leaves start to rustle and flow. Well, that's quite a bit more impressive. So you simply you have your understanding of bridging, you have your understanding of the two-way street of the senses, that it's out and in. Anything that you are looking at, you are making a connection to. You apply lesson 2 of Avatar, to where through the visual sight you begin to feel that tree within your body, and now a perfect bridge has been built. So the next thing you do is just energy within your own bubble. You don't even need to project, but you do have to hold awareness of your visual connection to that tree. You cannot let that go. If you do, then London Bridge is falling down, and that's it. The bridge is gone. There's no connection, and everything you do is useless. However, it's not that hard. If you can simply hold your visual inside out, lesson 2 of Avatar, connection to that tree, while you begin to engage in the holy breath, just breathing out and loving God, breathing in and loving God, breathing out, loving God, breathing in and loving God. That's like a bellows. That's like a pump. A bellows, the way they feed fires to make fires grow hotter. The smiths in the olden days, that's exactly what you're making. It is like a wind bellows. And because of your bridge through the visual connection to the tree, anything happening inside your internal soul field is also happening through that entire tree. So as you begin to engage in your holy breath, loving God inside and out, as you expand, contract, then the same thing starts happening in and to that tree that you're visually connected to. It begins to engage in the holy breath, and it's going to respond to it. It's going to be pleased. You are going to be very pleasing to that tree, because you're channeling divinity. You're channeling love, and you're channeling divinity. You're channeling God in the highest. So you're exposing this tree to a greater level of divinity than it's ever been exposed to. You can bet you're going to get a good response from the tree. So this is dancing. This is the different mindset. This is encouraging things past your body to desire, to want to play with you. It's a whole different mindset than this control, this I'm powerful and I'm forceful and the elements do my bidding. We don't go there anymore. That's grade school and kindergarten stuff. Nothing wrong with it. Everybody goes through that phase, but the sooner we can graduate from that phase, the better. So yeah, it's as simple as that. Connect to a tree, feel it on the inside, hold the visual connection to the tree while you engage in the holy breath, and within seconds, those leaves are going to be rustling. You're going to be like, holy shit. Like, wow. And then the second you disengage, you stop, you disconnect your vision, you disconnect your visual connection, you cease the holy breath, and leaves go calm. You, wow, okay, cool. Boom, do it again. Connect, holy breath, leaves go, stop, disconnect, leaves go. And that's why you want to choose a day that's at least relatively calm, so that stillness is the norm, so that when you disconnect, that the force itself can stop, because that's far more reaffirming that you actually did something than if it just keeps blowing, because then how do you know? You could have just guessed and just accidentally been synchronized with what was going to happen anyways. So then you look around at other trees that aren't blowing. You say, okay, now we're going to do that tree. Okay, now you see that tree's not blowing. Now we're going to do this one. So when I'm in person, when I'm training people these days, when I meet people in person, this is like the one demonstration that I'm willing to do, and that I have them do, and I've had really high margins of success.